All right. Welcome to the Life of a Marketer podcast. And today we have a guest, Nick Packard, who has kind of like a marketing agency, but he's an outsourced CMO. So he has a larger domain than just running campaigns and things like that. He's an actual strategist. So I'm excited to talk to him. But Nick, I'm going to let you take it away. Tell us about who you are. Tell us about what you do and what you're all about.
I'm all about helping small and medium-sized businesses. As a fractional CMO, I kind of consider myself like a hybrid between an agency and a consultant, but I'm very hands-on. So work directly with owners and decision makers on creating strategies and executing them. So, you get me when you work with me. And then we also find ways to plug in freelancers or their internal teams to kind of help with the budgets, but really just to kind of like accelerate their marketing, understand how to build a marketing system, and that's what I've been doing for a while now, so I love it.
Awesome. Very good. What kind of clients? You said small to medium sized businesses. Is there anything more specific than that you want to mention that you like to help than just small to medium sized businesses?
Well, it's funny. So I actually did some research on looking at my past client list, and all of them are family-owned businesses. And it's probably because, the therapist person in me would probably be like, well, I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. So I have 8 aunts and uncles, and my mom all have their own businesses. And so I grew this passion of like helping people that have a passion for what they do. And so, most of my clients are the small mom and pops or the ones that are kind of growing or scaling their business. Under 20 million in revenue is typically my sweet spot for clients. But people just don't have a team. They have a marketing person who might just have some experience with social media, or just maybe they just understand email marketing. They have like some core competencies, but they don't really have any like strategic ways of doing things. And so that's really who I love working with, and just the ability to kind of help them grow in a way that they didn't think was possible. So
Awesome. All right, very good. All right, so tell us, what's the best thing about being in the marketing industry?
creativity. I'm super creative, not just drawing or graphics, things like that, but just coming up with ideas to solve problems. And so, I can think of a bunch of examples where it's just like you shoot out an idea based on the things about the audience, and the owner's like, how in the hell did you just think of that? Like, where did that even come from? And so that ability to kind of give a creative idea that turns into $1 million in revenue, that turns into that. I mean, that to me is what was exciting about marketing.
Awesome. What sort of advice do you offer to those that are in the marketing industry right now?
Know your target customer. I mean, that is literally the most important thing any marketer can do, because people they want to build a website, they want to do some social media, they want to do all these marketing things, but if you don't know who your perfect customer is, what's the point? You're just spinning your wheels, you're wasting time, you're wasting money. And so, it's the difference between, people that can buy from you and the people that you want to buy from you. I want someone to buy from me that is a brand champion, that is going to have a low acquisition cost, that's going to have a high lifetime value. Those are my perfect customers, and I want those people. And so if I don't define who those people are, I can't find them with my marketing efforts and convert them into customers. And so if you're not doing a good job of that, you're not going to do a good job in marketing.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit, Nick, diving in a little bit on that. How
Yeah.
do you
So
how do you research? What's your process for finding out who the target persona is? You step into a business and you ask them that question, and they're like, I don't know. So how do you where do you give some juicy details? How do you go in and help them figure that out?
So I got 2 things for you. So the first thing is, yes, that happens all the time. So I have a document I've created. It is on a simple Word document, and it kind of breaks things down into sections. And so the first section of this document that I go over with them is I ask them 3 really important questions. I say, what's your why statement? Like, what's your why? I'm a big Simon Sinek guy. I love what he preaches and teaches. And so why do you get out of bed in the morning? Why did you start this business? Why are you here? Then I will ask them, what makes you unique? Most people come up with the very typical answer of like, oh, transparent communication and this, that, and the other thing, that aren't truly unique. And so then you kind of like you kind of call them out and say, that's kind of BS, man. Like that, everyone says that. You need something, what actually makes you unique in the marketplace. And then if they don't have that, then you create that. Then you say, okay, based on what I'm learning, we're going to create 3 to 5 things that make you truly unique. We're going to update your services. We're going to change the way you do business because we have to make you unique. Otherwise, from a marketing perspective, I can't position you as anything. And then it's simply like, what do you do? List all the specific services that you do. That is the groundwork for the messaging portion of it. So once we have that done, then we go into phase 2 of that. And that's all about your customers. So the first thing I do is I break them down into buckets. So the easiest example I give everyone is a recruiting agency, right? So a staffing company. They have 2 buckets that they are communicating to. It's clients and candidates. They're trying to get more clients, which are the companies looking for candidates, and they're also trying to get candidates to fill the clients' roles, right? Well, you sell the same things, right? You sell the part-time work, you sell the full-time jobs, you sell the contract work. You're selling the same thing, but you're positioning it in a completely different way to each bucket. And so what you're trying to do in your own business is break down your buckets of like consumers or profiles or whatever you want to call them. And then you figure out a couple things. You ask yourself, what challenges does this person or group have in trying to find someone like you? Or what challenges do they have in their business? Or what challenges do they have in their life? And you just list them out, bullet points. Then it's motivators. What motivates that person, that group to want to work with a company like you? Then you can do, so we've got commonalities. What do they have in common? Are they a certain age? Are they a certain demographic? Do they live in a certain place? Like all those kind of things. So you've got commonalities, you got motivators, you got challenges. Now I know a little bit about those people. Then I can list off job titles. I can list off company names. I can list off those kind of things. So it's basically just making a bunch of lists. You're identifying the knowns. These are the things that I know about this customer group. Then you create messaging based on all the things that you've done previously. So if you know that a commonality, so let me give you a great example of this is I did a golf ball campaign. I created a domain called picklefarts.com. I know that my target market goes to golf outings a lot. They like to golf. Marketing people or business owners, they like to go to golf outings. So I found a golf outing that had a high concentration of business owners and marketing decision makers. I bought a domain, picklefarts.com. I know that the challenges that they have is that they need someone who's creative. They need to like work with a CMO or fractional CMO like me, that they say, hey, this person has to be creative. They have to understand the ecosystem. They have to do all these things. So now I've created a domain, a website landing page, and a ball with the Pickle Fart logo on it that is now dispersed throughout the course randomly. So now I've created this whole campaign around based on the motivators, challenges, and all these different things that my target audience has at a location that they're at. And so it's a very, very simple and quick example, right? But like the whole idea is that like that's how a campaign is created. It's based on the buckets that you've defined.
Interesting. So I like the very first part of the process because as a media buyer, I run into that issue constantly to where I have to try to differentiate my clients and they sound and look just like every other competitor. So yeah. I try in the ad copy and in the in the context to try to make that different. But if the client actually had taken the initiative and had differentiated themselves already, it would make it so much easier and we'd have better messaging.
Yeah, and that's like a sticking point, right? Because it's like no one else in the marketing arena that they work with, whether it's internal or external partner, nobody can do their job right if they don't have anything that makes them different.
Yeah, it's really a challenge. So I do that in my ad copy and I figure out. So what I do is I do usually 3 documents. So we go in, we do a market map. So we look at all of our competitors and what they're doing. So all their ads. Then we go in, we do a target persona. So we're going to put together an actual like an avatar of the exact person we're trying to target. And then we do an empathy map. So we're going to go in, we're going to look at Facebook groups, Facebook audience insights. We're going to look at all this stuff. And we're going to like literally just read through and see what people are saying. And then you realize you kind of come like, here's what the market's saying. here's what everybody is saying about this particular service or product, and here's what their problem is. And then
Yeah.
this would be obvious what your messaging needs to be and how you can. So it kind of help to differentiate our clients in their ad
Yeah.
copy. But that's for the ads that we run. They don't do that for themselves on their website. They don't. Yeah. So I find that, I find that really, you have a really good. I like your way of working. I think that's excellent.
Well, and the best part is I actually give away that for free. I give away the template for free as long as every other templates I work with. So if you ever went to nickisatool.com, you would go to a landing page on my site that has downloadable all my templates. I share everything because to me, it's all about, building your community and all these things, right? It's like you want to share knowledge. I've attained knowledge. I want to help business owners. I want to help marketing professionals. So I started hosting these monthly workshops, and that led to this idea of like, I just want to give it away to anyone because whether you're in Texas or California or a different country, if you want some knowledge to make your company better, I want to be a part of that. So by going there, you can actually look through and download the Word document where you can actually see an example template and make it your own.
Wow. Awesome. So everybody in the when we send this out, we'll make sure whether it's in a post or whether it's in an email, we'll make sure that you get his website in there and his LinkedIn profile, so you can go in if you want to go in and download that and take a look. That's
Yeah,
okay, right, Nick?
absolutely. Yeah, and that's why it's there. I mean, I want people to see it because you can use it verbatim on how I use it, but like the whole idea is like we're all creatives, especially in the marketing world, right? We have our own way of doing things, but like just to have a baseline for what someone else does and kind of build something of your own off of it. I don't need money from it. I don't need this from it. I just want to share it. I want to help someone get a nugget. That's what I want.
Right. Awesome. All right. Switching gears a little bit. Thanks for that, Nick. What other successful people in marketing like yourself would you like to acknowledge that should be on the podcast?
I mean, I follow a lot of famous people. So, I mean, there's a lot of like, high level influencers, I think. But, one person I always go back to that early in my career that I've always looked up to is Jana Mancuso. She's the VP of marketing at Carmex, the lip balm company. Jana is like this amazing leader that she builds teams, she listens, she's creative. She is just this amazing person that I was lucky enough to work with for a number of years, actually, maybe a year or two, over at Carmex. And so just the way she approaches, she's data driven, but creative also had a big role in it. And then what she's doing is amazing. And so for her, that was kind of one of my early influences of how to lead teams and how to kind of balance the creative and the data side of marketing.
Awesome. Oh, thanks for sharing that. Very good. All right. So our one last question, which is really just for fun. Tell me the oldest technology you remember using.
The technology I hated using was like any website building tools like God,
Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver or Page Cloud, or like any of the Wix early on that like people would use that say, hey, can you update my Wix site for me, or Page Cloud, or yes. I mean, that to me was like the most infuriating stuff because it was so bad and you were trying to fix something that couldn't be fixed. So, and then technology has come such a long way. I just love it. I mean, even like the early, like the vertical response email marketing. I mean, there's so much technology that was like, it was cumbersome when it first came out, and it's grown leaps and bounds.
Oh yeah. A lot of things like that. Even I've been in this 13 years, and even in 13 years, it's amazing the tools that have come out that are so superior to what they used to use. Like everybody is like with Salesforce. I'm like, what are you doing? There's so much better stuff out there that you can use that's about 10 times cheaper. Yeah. And it's just like, even Salesforce has been around for a while, and it's been
and it's interesting how like technology, people get mad at technology because they feel like it takes away their job, right? Like WordPress, and a big thing I deal with all the time is like WordPress has evolved and they have this Elementor editing part, right, where you can drop and drag type thing, but like and then developers get all mad. Well, it's like, well, right, but it's a better and faster way of doing things, and there's still developing work to be done with any kind of site, right, with customizations and things like that. So it's like reposition the way you think of it. Technology is a good thing for your business because now they see the advantages of it. And so, so there's so many examples of like how people get pissed off about technology, but they could be using it in a much better way,
Right, right, right. Awesome, awesome. All right, very good. Well, Nick, we're out of questions. This is a short podcast. We try to keep it short.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having been on the podcast. I really appreciate it. You can catch our podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. We release it on YouTube at that time, and we also will stream it across social media. So you can catch us on social media, or you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Please do so. Please like and subscribe wherever you're at. We would really appreciate it. Nick, once again, thanks for being on, and we'll be seeing you next time, everybody.